I'm not a professional. I don't even claim to be good at this. You've been warned. You ever look at the car and you're like, it's not that bad. Then you get into it and you're like, yeah, it really is that bad. What I thought was gonna be just a couple of patches very quickly turned into a full rear end reconstructive surgery. So today's the teardown day. We're talking bumper, rear quarter panels, rear cross member, leaf spring perches, trunk extensions. Basically, if it's got holes rotted through it, it's going. I actually filmed this part last week, but it's where the teardown really started, and that was getting the bumper off because this thing had to go so I could see exactly how bad it was behind it. These bolts probably hadn't been off since, 1967, and Aziz, light!
Aziz, light!
It doesn't fit on this side. Future me with a quick update. Had I just opened the trunk, reached in, taken out this bolt, I wouldn't have had to cut the other end off and saved myself a whole hell of a lot of time and effort. Figure if I share that with you now, it'll keep you from feeling like a jackass like I do right now. Haha, that got it. I also cut all this crap out last week. And that's when I stopped working and just started staring. This wasn't a patch job anymore. This was a problem. Cause yeah, there's supposed to be metal here. In here, in here, in here, in here. So I needed to figure out how I was gonna fix this. I'm gonna figure out exactly what's good and what's not. There's clearly Bondo under here. More Bondo. It's just surface rust. That's not bad. Also good. Not so much. Okay, we don't need much here. Kind of right here. All right, I'll go ahead and mark where I want to come down. We got a lot of Bondo up here, so I don't know if I'm gonna come from this lower body line or the upper one again. We got about 2 inches in between the body lines from here to here. So if I come down all the way back here, I only got 1.5 inches to the rust. I'm happy with that. So from the upper body line, we come down 3 inches. Right there, and right there. Starting to think there's more dirt on the floor than there is on the car. So we definitely got a little more rot under here. And I'm really not all that worried about this guy, cause I'm replacing it anyway. The rocker underneath on this side looks way better than the other side. Just looks like I got a little hole right here. With my quarter panels cut back, that gets me to my trunk extensions, which I'm putting in new ones. I haven't decided where I'm gonna cut them out yet or drill all the spot welds out. To help me make that determination, I need to get the seams inside cleaned up. Just gonna go ahead and hit this with a wire brush. And maybe a little bit of a scraping utensil. Oh yes, that's much better. Ooh. Now cleaning up that seam sealer showed us a couple more holes. One here and one here. We're gonna have to see what we can do about patching those up too. So I think to preserve some of the parts that I don't have replacements for, I'm gonna have to drill out some spot welds. I think I've decided to cut out the bulk of the material to make getting to the sensitive stuff a little easier. There we go. Now, it's a whole lot easier for me to get to this inner lip, half of which I wanna save. And this is where cutting spot welds comes in. Now, I don't have a good spot weld cutter. The ones I have are junk. I cut like 4 and they're dull. So I'm gonna show you how I do this without one. And it starts with getting this lip clean. For that, I'm gonna use a flap disc. Now once you get that thing clean, it becomes pretty apparent where your spot welds are. I like to use a die grinder with a carbide tip. I'm just grinding down until I start to see the metal underneath coming through. At that point, I should be able to come through with my seam separator and just give this a nice little tappy tap. Maybe. There we go. See how my weld rips through? And for the most part, my metal on the backside is nice and clean, except for that spot. I screwed that one up. Now I just need to repeat that for all the other spot welds. I'll be back when that's done. I've got my trunk extensions out of both sides now. Fortunately, this driver's side looks way better than the passenger side, so I've got some good metal to take templates off of. And speaking of templates, this whole section right here, where the bumper mount goes, yeah, it's done. But the driver's side looks pretty good. Who knew? Honey Nut Cheerios box makes good template material. And initially my plan was to get the spring mounts off next, but after looking at how all this is put together, I think I'm gonna go ahead and have to take this rear cross member off first. Before I get either the cross member or the spring perches off, I wanna go ahead and get the weight off the rear, I wanna get the weight of the axle and the wheels and everything off the rear end. I do have the axle supported by a jack prior to doing this. Oh, don't mind all this. I absolutely positively was not test fitting new pieces to see how they would. I would never plan ahead. Disconnected. Now we just gotta let her down a little bit. Get those things out the way. Wait, what? I'm an idiot. My dumb ass forgot about the shocks. That was quite loose. I don't know how I feel about that. There we go. That is way better. I wanted to say now is time to get rid of cross member, but flap disc. Need cutting wheel. Now is time to get rid of cross member. Ooh. Ears. Better. Maybe we can get these guys out. There we go. Let's see if this is gonna come off. This will help me find my spot welds. Looks like there's one here. Looks like there's one here. Maybe there's one here that's already let go. 2, 3. Figuring out where my spot welds are is gonna help me when I put the thing back together. So I got 2 on the top, 1 on the side, 1 on the bottom. And I'm not trying to bore you to death, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of this and all of this off, and we'll be back when it's time for the spring mounts. So I made a decision, and we'll see if I come to regret this later. I went ahead and drilled out all my spot welds from inside the trunk. I figured that'll give me a good guide on where my new cross member, that's the word. I figure that would give me a good guide on where my new cross member needs to go. It's also made getting this lower lip really easy. Now that I got the last bits of the cross member off. Well, let's get this guy out. I've already scraped down the lips to expose the spot welds that hold them in. A couple down here. 3, maybe 4 here, to do some more exposing to see how many are here. But my goal is to avoid damaging the undercoat as much as possible, so that way I can use it as a placement guide when I put the new ones back in. Man, that thing absolutely sucked to get out. And after all that unexpected cutting, grinding, and questioning my sanity, the rot is finally gone. Now, it's not perfect, but it is a good base to build off of. I just need to get this thing cleaned up. So I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna hit all this rust with a wire brush. Now, I'm not trying to take this down to bare metal, I'm just trying to knock the thick stuff off. Now I'm gonna finish up. This is basically just phosphoric acid. When it gets into cuts, it doesn't feel good. When applied to a rusty surface, it converts iron oxide into iron phosphate, and it stops rust, hopefully, in its tracks. My dart project's in the home stretch. All that's left is to put all this back together, prime it, sand it, paint it. And if you wanna see how we got to this point, check out this video right here.